Oh, good morning. I've already done my copious amounts of swearing because technical hitches meant that you may have already started watching a different show. And now there's this one up. Yes, life is full of adventures. Quite often they are not the adventures we are hoping for. And most often it feels like we're destined or we're purposed or life won't be complete unless we have the adventures we are hoping for and we learn how to get rid of these adventures that we do not want to participate in. And I am really interested in exploring that with you this week. And even for the people who feel like they've surrendered, I just go, wow, yeah, I feel like I've surrendered. And then I have this vision of who I am, without which, if I do not complete, if I do not survive in a particular way, I will not be complete. Ironically, I continue to survive every day, and sometimes that drives me nuts, but there is that sense that I have this unique way of being in the world. And ask most of the people around you, and they would be able to find something that is magical and amazing and fabulous about it. It seems I'm the one who, on an average day, is hunting around for something more magical rather than finding the magic that's already occurring for me. Yeah, it's really interesting that it still seems like I've got more than one show up. But anyway, I'm going to continue and push through this because sometimes it's the things that you least want to happen that seem like when they happen, well, they don't seem like anything. It's just obvious that they're happening for a reason. So how do we be satisfied, I guess, is the thing I'm looking for, is how do I just be satisfied, let myself be with what is happening and celebrate what's in that for me. Give myself permission to have the experience fully. Let my intuition bathe in that experience and see what's available for me in that experience. There's been so many incredible things happening lately, and all of them are signposts. If they light up for us, they are signposts for us. Many of us know what our gifts are. We see the things that we have access to, the tools, the skills, the way of being in the world that we have access to, that that lights us up and lights other people up. And it feels to us, and this is only within that hierarchy of better, worse, good, bad, it seems to us that some events are optimum, ultimate, whatever, and other events are, I think about, say, a pop star, or someone whose aim is to be out there in front of people giving their message through a large auditorium. Now, they're out there and their hit song's being played and it's amazing. The high is, the adrenaline is, the band is backing them, you know, the people love them, it's going off. And there's a sense that if you could just be in that flow all the time, life would be amazing. Like, life is not that flow. It just is not that flow. That is part of it for sure. Doing the thing you love, being larger than life. I don't know, you know, it's not even being larger than life, but in that case it is. And for a lot of us at the moment, it feels like being out there, being seen, being heard is really, really important. To be seen and be heard and acknowledged is super, uber important. And I was watching a documentary last night, and there was a baroness from England speaking. She's done a lot of research on social media and stuff, and she was just talking about how a lot of our experiences on social media are quite infantile. You know, like we are still at that age where we're going, hey, daddy, look at me. Hey, mommy, look at me. I've done this. I've done that. I've got a teddy. I've got a guinea pig. What did she say called Bobo or something, you know? And we're still looking for that basic, yes, darling, you exist. You're okay. You know, like I'm here watching over you. You know, we're still looking for that very basic, you're a worthwhile being in our existence. So, you know, and I've spent a lot of time thinking about purpose and passion and what makes me feel alive. And I keep coming back to that thing of, you know, the person in the concert. Like that, the flow does not happen unless all the other things are playing out. All the drama, intrigue, I don't know, it's not drama and intrigue, it doesn't have to be like that, but you know, people joining the band, leaving the band, managers messing things up and fixing things up, all the other things that happen are integral to those moments where it's magical. So how do we start seeing the whole thing as magical? How do we start valuing all the moments and not having this hierarchy of this moment is far superior, and as long as I can stay in that moment, I will be far superior? Because I'm seeing people who are amazing, but they're dropping into incredible rage and depression, or, you know, there's still these parts of themselves that are equally valuable to be expressed. I just, my eyes are flittering around and I'm aware of that. And I just want to preface this show with that, because I think, I don't know where my stories are going, but it feels like we all continue to have fear, sadness, upset, drama, you know, whatever the thing is we've been trying to get away from our whole life. A feeling of being left out or abandonment, a feeling of not being seen. We all have and continue and will continue to have those moments in our life of wide and varied diversity of experiences. And every single one of those moments, whether it's abandonment or fear or grief, or every single one of those moments is different. You cannot lump them in the box of, oh, look, here she goes again. She's getting angry. Oh, it's going to be the same as last time. Let's see if she cries or if she screams. You know, it's not the same. It is a different experience. It's a different experience for you. And it's a different experience for the people around you. And the people around you are different to the people who you had a similar experience to when you were a child. There is no, oh, this pattern is playing out again. To see our life as a series of repeated things is not doing justice to the amazing, amazing miracle of life that we are, and the web of interconnected energies that are playing so, I want to say forcefully, because no matter what we do or what we try and orchestrate, it's that beautiful chant, what is it? Life happens to you while you're busy making other plans. And a lot of time we're so busy looking at the signposts towards our plans and trying to keep ourselves in this very narrow range of those signposts towards that plan that we miss all the varied and valuable experiences that are happening right now, right here, right where we are, right as we are. And I know for me, it's been a history of wanting other people to change to look like my picture of how things are going to go. And the more I let go and value what is sitting around me, what is operating around me, the more extraordinary the actions of my significant others seem to become. And even if they don't fit in the mold of what I thought they would look like, just starting to see the value of who they truly are. And it's outside of that box of who I think they are. Like when I'm trying to squeeze them into some box of who I think they are, I miss who they are actually being in this moment. And I miss the profound experience I am gifted with by being with them in whatever state they're in. And it's not even being with them, it's being with me, whatever occurs for me, and allowing that to be as it is and recognizing it, having that self-awareness, having that self-acceptance, and ultimately having that self-love. Such a powerful operation. And I'm doing this exercise where I'm getting up and just getting on the screen pretty much in my office, how it is, without pimping my office, without obviously pimping me. Okay, I had a shower this morning. But I am really interested in the phenomena of how we portray ourselves. I remember it was quite a few years ago now, and I had some performance artist friends who were also great photographers, and I continue to have amazing photographers in my life. And I just remember, and this was, before social media, before iPhones in every pocket, and they had some amazing albums, amazing scrapbooks of their child's conception to experience. I don't think there was actually the making love process, but from the moment that baby was found to be here, there was pregnant belly photos, and they were artistically done, and they were gorgeous, like they were. I want a photo of me as a mummy baby like that. Like you could see a lot of love. But I always questioned. I was like, what does that do to our self-image when we are always keeping just the photos that portray the gorgeous energy, the artistic, creative. I don't know, like I remember the photos of us as kids, there was heads cut off, there was just some little baby way down the yard, like it was just what you got. And it was always a surprise. You'd put the film in and you'd go back weeks later sometimes to pick up the film, and you'd get these random photos that, also bear little resemblance to reality, I guess, or the reality that we were perceiving. So that's interesting in itself, because both things were very, I guess, unrepresentative of the actual experience. Of course they are. There's some 2D, experience. But I am fascinated by that and the perception. And I recently heard something about daycare where they started, they've got so much documentation going on in daycare of a child's work and a child's development. And they started saying to the daycare coordinators, you must only take photos from the child's viewpoint. So no more of this, oh, here I am holding up my work, mummy, and face on photos. When the child looks through that scrapbook, they want to be looking at it as if they're looking on their work. So no front facial photos, it's over the top looking over at their work. So that also, you know, fascinates me. And I've just been to a workshop where we've been talking about creating site-specific performances for, you know, big events, for big numbers of people. And it is interesting because, you know, a lot of the planning of that is about logistics and, you know, it's about how to pull it off. And of course, it's about the spectacle. It is about the vision. It is about what people will see and where people will be seated and how much they will see and what it will look like. And so often it is about trying to find the new thing, you know, trying to find something they haven't seen before. And it's funny, I just feel like I'm raving this morning. I am kind of just going where the mood takes me. And I mean, I always do that, go where the mood takes me. I feel like there's a lot of people right at this time and they're all going, what the heck, for me to have my experience of life I want to have, I need money. I need to have money coming in. I need to find a way to make money. I need to figure out how to pay these continuing, ongoing bills to be able to exist. And I just keep thinking of, since this culture has been operating on the planet, everyone has been obsessed with survival in its different forms. Whether we were honouring the gods to make sure they gave us the next good harvest, or whether we were out hunting, hoping to God that we caught the antelope this time to bring home to our families, or whether we were living in the tenement houses trying to figure out how to pay back the loan sharks, you know, which isn't so different to today, or whether we were, you know, the multimillionaires, the super rich of this day, trying to sustain the power and the protection that we think our money gives us, feeling that we need that protection, you know, feeling that we need to be safe and that money gives us safety. At all times on the planet, we've been preoccupied with the things that will make us feel safe, the things that will make us feel part of the tribe, part of a group, a clique. We've been preoccupied with what will make us feel loved. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's the miracle. That is the thing that goes, oh, look at you, living master. Your beliefs have created this reality where you feel safe, loved, and like you belong. Like ongoingly, we continue to create situations. And from outside, like it does look like sometimes when you're in it, you don't feel, you're like, don't tell me this is making me feel safe. This is making me feel nuts and crazy. But there'll be something in that story when you stop and examine it that allows you to see where you've taken on this reality. You perceive the reality this way because it makes you feel safe. And, you know, some people will be watching this and going, here she goes again, telling us how it is. That's not how it is for me. But the only reason I'm making these videos is because I'm exploring this myself. And I know when I'm in that duality, when I am in that judgment, when I am in that space of critiquing myself and trying to find the place I want to be and trying to be somewhere else other than what I am, trying to create a livelihood that is down the road a bit, you know, like that is something separate from what's actually happening now, that I'm not being with this moment and the powerful intuitions that are coming to me And I'm not letting life take me where I don't need to be, because we are all where we need to be. We are all experiencing this amazing, amazing moment, whatever it happens to look like for us, whatever it turns out to be for us, we are living it. And I just know if you're anything like me, you will totally be hanging around going, ah, how do I fix my life so that things happen the way I want them to? You know, I figured out that if I could just get this life to look like this, then, well, yeah, I would feel happier. I would be in a better space. I've spent a lot of time trying to fix things for other people, trying to go out in the world and make happiness where I see distress. You know, having great concern for the planet. I love this planet. I'm part of this planet. I feel for this planet. And at the same time, I feel what I feel. I feel what I feel related to my purpose. And I'm really starting to understand that it's the layers of judgment that I put over that make me unable to act, that make me paralyzed, that make me it's unproductive isn't the right word, because I don't think to be productive is the answer, but quite often lately I found myself being still. The universe is giving me no other choice but to be still. And whether that's lay down and go back to sleep, or whether that's sit and look out the window, or even in this sense, sit and be with someone, sit and listen and talk. There's no fanfare, there's no selling it to anyone else, there's no I kind of want to go making a purpose for me to be here. There's no creating a way to sustain me being here, because I'm already here and I'm already sustained. And I feel like that love that we're looking for, when we do the practice of self-awareness and self-acceptance in a particular way, when we start to come outside of that duality of thinking there's something else for us to get, that, you know, we are going to evolve and it's all going to get better, when we can lose that story, we allow ourselves so much more space to exist. And we allow ourselves so much more space to see where we're loved, without us having to do anything. It's this ironic thing. It's already happening. It's already here. We are already, I want to say magicians, but there's nothing magic about it. But it is that sense of, you know, if we watch, I don't know what channel you guys have, but, you know, the SBS movies of people in other exotic locations, we just are enchanted. We watch these lives of people in a different place. And it's the same when we go on holidays or when we're in a new environment, you know, we're enchanted. You're a new person and all your senses are heightened, and you can watch their story like it's magic. Like everything is put in place for a purpose. You can see the purpose of everything. And you can see how all the drama and all the things playing out weave the story into this photo of perfection. That every photo is then a photo of perfection. And every moment of our lives is this photo of perfection. I've been watching some TEDx videos lately. And just reading some of the comments from the different comments, and more there's just more haters out there. You know, like just hating on people, critiquing and judging their experience. And it definitely is something that's in my awareness at the moment, how much I look out into the world and assess my experience based on other people's, and want to give other people an understanding of their own experience based on mine, like not actually letting them have their experience, wanting to go, yes, but, this is how it is for me. And if you could see it my way, then, you know, we might be able to come together and hear each other. You know, it's funny, on the little preview I put, you know, see if the Headless Buddha will lose her head. And so far I haven't, although my head is on a bit of a funny angle today. Must be these stitches by my eye. There they are, so you can get a quick, if you've hung with me this far, you'll be wondering. Close up. It's interesting. That's actually a skin cancer being cut out. And for a long time, I wouldn't have anything to do with medical doctors. I created this story that, you know, they were part of the terrible, ugly monster of modern technology that was destroying the world. And I would have done anything. Well, actually, no, I did nothing. I would have done nothing. And it's funny, I was reading an article about Steve Jobs last night, and why did Steve Jobs die? You know, he passed away from cancer, but he ignored the advice of all the people around him. I'm sure he didn't ignore the advice of all the people, but he ignored the advice of some of the closest people around him, and there was things he could have done to have that cancer treated and resolved very quickly, and he didn't do that. And he passed away as a well, not as a consequence, but he passed away. That was his journey. And I've had so many people telling me, "Oh, have you used this? Have you used that? Why did you go down the surgery path? You know, that's not it. It's not our paradigm or something." And it just feels like it's so interesting to come back to that trust in yourself, that momentary truth for you, outside of what everyone else is doing, outside of what it looks like, outside of what they're telling you need to do on TV, outside of what you're finding on the internet, outside of everything. What do you know? Because you are your wisest ally. Your intuition is inherently designed to give you the exact experience that is perfect for you in this moment. And I want to use the word God, that is God witnessing itself, you know, like that is, and even saying it like that, like me and Mel have been not struggling, but you know, if you ever do the Perfect Present course, you will find a lot of space to examine how you are perceiving the world, how you are perceiving the world. And it's very much that sense of all our language is in duality. Even when I say God, perceiving God, it's like we are separate from this divinity that is this exquisite, extraordinary, diverse experience of life. I am still exploring how separate I think I am from that. And I was watching a show about a bunch of Indigenous cultures last night, and thinking about their frame of reference to being a part of the sense of not being able to separate yourself from anything else. And it's not like, it's still, when I say that, I still see it as I'm part of this machinery. You know, I'm a cog in the wheel. Very much our language and our whole way of interacting with each other is I am another cog in the wheel. I can have an effect on you and you are having an effect on me. And it discredits or it devalues the multiple connections, the various energies, the ever-changing, all the things that are happening. Like, you know, even when I start to try and play it out in sounds and movements, it doesn't do it justice. It feels like it is to just be with your own experience right now, your own extraordinary experience, where when we pull one thread to have a look at, it does remind me of those wheat bags where you pull one thread and the whole thing undoes, you know, which is what, you know, so many scientists have been grappling with, is as soon as I observe an experiment, I affect it. So how can I be a neutral observer in something and not have an effect? Because everything we do, just inherently, we are in connection. There is an experience. And another thing that happened on the weekend, which was gorgeous, you know, we were working on these site-specific large-scale projects, and there was one particular artist who had designed the workshop and led the weekend. It was a beautiful experience of exploring how to create together, how to make beautiful things, beautiful experiences for people together. And we went off in small groups to different places along this beautiful Broadwater, this beautiful estuary at Southport in the Gold Coast. And we examined quite different spaces. You know, some people went under a bridge and some people went where there was a playground and a, you know, blow up big swimming section for kids. And we went to a giant space, and then there was another beautiful old fisherman's wharf, which is being a bit redeveloped. But, you know, there's a space there that's quite, you know, obviously man-made, where the drains come out and there's rock walls and stuff. So we all looked at different spaces and came up with these ideas for the different spaces. And after we'd done our presentations back to the group, the leader of the group started showing us recent things that he had done. And it was so symbiotic, like it was so, like we had telepathically downloaded quite a lot of his ideas or something, like, you know, to the point of a boat rises out of the water and burns and goes under the water. Like he had done a project like that already. And I was having this vision of this apartment block that rose out of the ground, and you could move the components around and different people could pop up in different compartments. And then he showed us another video of a set of shipping containers all stacked up and things happening in them. So it was like we are already so connected. Like we don't have to do anything to be connected. You know, which kind of brings me back to How do you pull off the big things in life? Every day, every moment is the big thing. To be present here now. I am surviving. I'm alive. There's no prerequisite for me to survive here now. I may want to pay my bills, and I may want to stay in this house, and I may want a whole range of things, but that may not be what's in store for me. You know, I know for many people, they may want to have a child in their life, but their body is saying that's not what's in store for you. And possibly, and probably already, you have many children in your life, or the very thing you're looking for is in some form right in front of you. It may not look like what you expect, but you know, if you're desperately going, I must get money to pay my bills to get the food, have a look in your cupboard. There may be some food there already. Or walk out in the street. There may be a soup kitchen. You know, like there may be already something in place for that need to be filled for you. It may not look like what you need. And I know there'll be some haters out there just going, who's she to say that? Blah, 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 blah. You know, like she doesn't have no food in her fridge. She's on the internet. She must have the internet. Most people who have a lot of the luxuries of life are mega in debt for it. I personally, you know, am working out how to do the things I do on a wing and a prayer. I do not know what's happening next. And it's not to say that as some badge of honor. I know I am blessed. I am completely surrounded by angels. And some of them don't look like angels, they look like devils. But they are saying things to me that I need to hear. And they are saying things that allow me to drop back into this moment and experience it without any need for something to change, so that I can learn to be fully accepting of myself where I am, so I can fully love myself here and now. So I don't have to go looking for it out there in an experience or in an object or in a relationship. I can fully know love here. I can fully be with you with my own self-acceptance and my own love. Because no matter what I'm looking at you and judging or feeling, it is somewhere only a reflection of how much I can love myself or have acceptance for myself as a part of all that is, as a part of this whole dance of divine energy, playing with each other, playing this amazing game of life. And it's amazing. You are amazing. You came here to have this experience. Whatever's welling up in you right now, whether it's rage or profound humility or a sense of peace or an outpouring of grief, you came here to feel this. You came here to be this. And no matter what you're feeling, you are not alone. There's no way. You are this part of this whole. And as I say that, it takes away the power of it in a way. Because to say you're part of the whole still leaves you separate. Everything about you is powerful. I mean, we look at those monks who sat on the mountain, and we know their energy, their experience, their way of being in the world is the world, is part of the world, is integral. And here we are in our room, on our patio, wherever we are, having our experience. We are the monks, we are the saints, we are the sages, we are the seers. We are the people who work tirelessly, who live, who are surviving, who are here, and who can begin to see ourselves every day as thriving. Whatever emotion is part of the expression of life. And you are life. You are sound. You are movement. You are tears. You are blood. You are bone. You are smiling faces, whirling material. You are deep-seated grief. You are sensations playing a symphony. You are interconnected wholeness, holistic, engaged, experiencing. Elemental. Expanded awareness. Now, allowing experience. And I guess I just want to leave you with a bit of an experiment, an opportunity to go out and experience the recipe of your life. What is the recipe of your life that you're living by? I mean, mine seems to be take time to get up and try and figure out how to get to the outcome that I want, so that I can see that I have purpose, and I can see that I'm able to shift energy around in this world, and I can see that life works for me. That is the recipe I've been using. to make myself feel safe, to make myself feel like I belong here, to make myself feel like I am loved by the universe. The universe lets me move things around and lets me, you know, go into effective things that don't work out. And that's the recipe I've been running my life by. And that's fabulous. It means I've got purpose. It means I'm rushing around all day doing fabulous things, looking for ways to put things together, getting frustrated when things don't work out the way I thought they would, trying to figure it out again. I'm continually on the realm of trying to figure it out. That is the recipe of my life. I'm so grateful for having had that recipe. It has driven me to explore places in the world, experiences, you know, creating large-scale events for people, working with people who are completely different to me, having different experiences all the time. With all my gratitude for that, I can now stand in this self-awareness and choose. Is that the recipe of life I want to be playing by? You can try any of them. That's the magic of you as a living master. You can totally try any of them. Oh, what recipe would I like next? Maybe we all just blobs of energy spinning through space. I remember once at a uranium mine site, we were students for sustainability going and checking out uranium mine sites, and they'd flown in all these experts from Brisbane to South Australia to talk to us activists about how they were, you know, remediating the site, and, you know, everything was fine. There was no disease or disability or distress from this mine. And we started talking, and I was like, hey, if I see this whole planet as a living being, that, you know, every part of it is like me, it's got parts and it's a living being, what part are you taking out? And, you know, what was the role of that part before? And this guy just looked at me and goes, well, that depends how you look at it. I kind of see the earth as a bunch of energy spinning through space and a bunch of bits of matter interacting with each other, and, you know, so, and I went into shock because I judged him and went, oh, that's terrible. How can you think like that? You know, like, that's outrageous. But, you know, I was thinking of the earth quite mechanistically as well. I was thinking of it in my own way that worked for me. And he was thinking of it in his own way that worked for him. And it worked for both of us at the time to be in those places, doing those things, having that experience. Neither of it was right or wrong. His experience isn't wrong. He's not some bad, evil guy. He's doing his thing. I'm doing my thing. From his perspective, or his boss's perspective, I might have been a bad, evil tyrant trying to stop progress or whatever, you know, but I wasn't wrong. I was having my experience. We're all having our experience. And I go, who am I trying to convince? Of course I'm trying to convince me. I'm playing into a new story. I'm playing into a new way of seeing the world. It's always been the way I've operated in the world. But it's also having that self-awareness from a new perspective. And at the same time, recognizing that it's not a new perspective. Because still the rules play out. I'm creating a story that makes me feel safe, that makes me feel loved, and makes me feel like I belong. I've always believed that everyone was doing the best they can with what they have. But now I'm learning to do that and have that belief without being in duality, without seeing people as, oh, poor them. They're acting that way because of certain things that occurred for them. You know, it's like, oh, if they had learned their lesson better, if they'd been able to have the experience they needed to have to learn their lesson, they would be a different person. And then, you know, like, That's not everyone doing the best they can with what they have. That's some poor people who've had a hard life or have had a bad experience, being treated badly, learning the wrong lesson and having the wrong outcome. That's all in duality. To actually go, everyone, regardless of whether they have conscious awareness of it or not, is operating from a place that is looking for where they can feel safe, loved, and belong. It may not look, it may not feel like, we don't always create situations that make us feel safe, that feel safe. They might feel like we're terrorized. You know, we might feel like there's an oppressive system standing over us and we are in the matrix. You know, we are trapped in it. We're trapped. But that makes us feel safe somehow. We know the rules of the game. We know what side we're on. We know how we have to operate. We know where we're, you know, what gameplay we're going to have today. We know we're going to be on the good team. We know we're going to be a good person. That gives us a ranking system, and we are good. And we know when we've been being good. So that makes us feel safe. That makes us feel like we're on the good team. We belong. Someone will love us if we're doing a good job. God will love us, or eventually we'll get a reward somewhere for being on the good team. And we can love ourselves because we're on the good team. And there's nothing wrong with that. Our experience can never be wrong. Our experience is our experience. Well, I feel like I've been talking at you for quite a long time. I'm very blessed to have this outlet. I love being a philosopher. I love thinking about the way it all works and the way life goes on. I feel very blessed to have Melanie around, even though she's not on the show at the moment. She's around and influencing my thinking. But she would say not influencing. She would say your thinking is thinking and everything is influencing it. I encourage you to keep exploring your ideas. And if our ideas are interesting to you, you can, of course, go to the Miracles and Wonder website. We have some fabulous opportunities for you to keep this conversation going with us. And we have some, if you go to the website, straight away you'll see the Fairy Godmothers Coach, and you can click on there for some more free information that will help you see where you're operating in duality and see where that's working for you, or see where you're having an experience of the complete oneness and interconnectedness of life. Whatever you're experiencing right now, I just go, let it be. And it's not to let it flow, because it's not going anywhere. It is right here, right now. Makes me want to say to Takliasan, which just means to all my relations. And I know we can't be disconnected. So stay close.